Coming off a long day today. Feels like it's already been a week. It's only Wednesday. And I saw a post from Ed Milet who's saying, hard work. Hard work's the only way, right? I mean, you got to work harder and faster and stronger than your competition. If you do that over and over and over again, you will succeed in the long term, whether that be a month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. So if that's you, hey, keep working. I'm going to be working late tonight, doing a lot of things. My Facebook Live today is on the topic of brand equity. Brand equity is a kick I'm on. I've explained this several times that I'm just on this kick with brand equity and explaining brands as brand equity. I'm trying to find a better way to explain brands because when I first came into the business, it just didn't sit right to talk about as real estate. There are a lot of people talking about, oh, it's like beachfront property, it's a New York property. And well, guess what? I don't want to live in New York. Beachfront, yes, absolutely. New York, no. Manhattan, been there many times. No desire. And so it just didn't have that connection to me. And when I went out and I talked to owners and end users on domain names, I said, well, it's beachfront. What? No connection. It didn't make that move. But when I saw people who did it the best, like Andrew, and I consistently did it over and over and over again, I'm like over 95,000 contact points, something like that. Ridiculous. A lot of contact points selling domain names. What I realized is that there was a different way to explain it. There's a different journey that these founders and the entrepreneurs went through when they were thinking about branding, when they were thinking about buying and purchasing their branded domain name. So yesterday I talked about cover.com and how they went on this journey. And this journey, they realized, hey, we need it. There's all this social pressure from them. Hey, don't spend frivolously. But they're saying, but that's our brand. That's who we are. Like, we have to own it. And they're looking at some of their investors, and their investors are saying, hey, like, I'm giving you money. I'm giving you $20 million. What are you doing to protect this investment? If you don't own your brand, all you're doing is you're building something up. Another company can come in and they're going to capture a portion of that equity. They're going to capture a portion of advertising for life. You have to own your brand, right? And so the journey that they go on, and founders and these CEOs and these startups, they end up buying their brand. Now, what happens is that when they go through it numerous times, and these startups, they go through it numerous times, it's just by default saying, hey, I've got to have it. Like, that's part of the equation. We have to own our brand because we have to own our messaging. There's the 7 dimensions to a domain name, right? Global positioning, industry positioning, marketing, branding, SEO, ability to pivot, email marketing. I think I hit them all. So that's why they have to own that. Now, but in this is this thought of brand equity. This thought of brand equity. Now, how do you tell if their brand has brand equity? Well, you look at a company like, there's many examples out there. Look at a company like Ring.com. Ring.com sold for $1 billion to Amazon. And I'm sure you're tired of the story, tired of me telling you this story. They bought their domain name for $1 million. And he said the domain name was worth anywhere from like $40 to $50 million. I think that's what he said. I have to go back and look at that. But it was a lot of money. It was like multiples and multiples over what he bought the domain for. Okay, it's brand equity. Look at the cover.com, that story, $850,000. You look at teamwork.com, I love that story, $650,000, and the brand like skyrocketed. Now, how do you evaluate this? Ask those companies, hey, would you sell me your domain name? And be like, are you kidding me? Like, it's interwoven in our business. It's like supercharged, created this clarity and this simplicity, this effortlessness to our brand. There's no way we would sell this. Not a chance. Well, I'll give you $2 million. You only bought it for $500,000. No, not happening, right? We're a $100 million company. Not happening. Okay, I'll give you $10 million. No, not happening. $50 million. Nope, not happening, right? That's because it's brand equity. They might have bought it for nothing for 6 figures, but now it's become worth more to their company because of the way that it's created this effortless path. So it's no longer, it's beyond that. Now, when you tell startups this, when you tell the end users this, they kind of get it. It's like, yeah, I get it, right? I mean, I wouldn't sell it. Now, I know this for a fact because I've tried to do this. I've tried to go to companies that have maybe they've owned this domain name. Well, actually, there's several companies that we sold a domain to, and immediately, because our marketing engine is just cranking, we talked to so many people that we had offers come in after it closed. And we go back to that person, we say, hey, would you sell this for 10, 20,000 over what you bought it for? Would you sell for double what you bought it for? And the answer is no, not at all. I mean, there's one time we sold a domain name, and it was like this major car dealership up Northeast. They had just this, they had, multi-million dollar. Okay. It was also the person's last name. I think it was Quirk.com. And anyways, so we ended up selling it to someone who was, there's a little bit of history to it, but we ended up selling it. Now, when I originally contacted the person, I contacted the general manager. I mean, I really went deep, and I got no, we're not interested. And then I talked to one of the digital guys. I'm not interested. I said, did you talk to them? Did you talk to the people who are in charge of, and you talk to the family? Because this is their name. This is their legacy. This is who they are. Not interested. So what happened is that they came back to me, and they offered like double what we sold. It actually was like, I think I can't get the details, but it was more than, that was like 3 times what we sold the domain for. They came back, and guess what? Like, it was gone, done. They wouldn't sell it because it was now part of their brand. It was like this brand equity. And so that's the kick that I've been on lately, is really explaining domains in that equation, because there's so much more to that domain name. There's so much more to it than just, hey, this is beachfront property. This is property. So if you get it right, and you can explain it, you can really get into that, and you can weave it in, then you can really get to the value of it. So that right there, I just gave you some really good, valuable insight into selling domain names. If you're, let's say you're a brand, you're a marketer, you're coming and you're seeing this video, trying to figure out the impact, think about that to your business. Think about why and how that domain name impacts your brand marketing. Think about it. If you had this domain today, would you sell it for $1 million? I'm just using that as a number. No, you wouldn't. You would never sell it, because it gives you, your brand, the opportunity to scale, the opportunity to build. And not only that, it's the defensive side, the risk involved with selling it. Who's going to buy it? And yet what happens is that these same conversations go through, because they're in a different world, because their worldview says, hey, domain names aren't important. They will only look at that quick ROI and say, nah, it's just, I can't do it. Now, a lot of times this comes back to looking at the company and saying, well, hey, you pay a junior salesperson this. Over 10 years, this would be equivalent to owning, to a junior salesperson over 10 years. Would this provide the same value? Of course, they provide much more value. It's priceless to your brand because of the simplicity and effortlessness. Okay, I'm rambling on again, but domain equity, it's so important. It's so important. It's this intangibleness that comes along with a domain name interacting with the brand. One last pointer. That's it. It's intangible of how a domain name interacts with the brand. If you get it, you supercharge it. You supercharge your brand. You create this effortless path. Brand equity leads to loyalty, leads to conversions, leads to trust, leads to leadership, leads to positioning. And with those comes higher profit, higher conversions. Look at the stories. Look at cover.com. Look at teamwork.com. 2 great stories. Look at ring.com. These serial entrepreneurs that are out there that have done this over and over and over again. Guess what? They tell you it works. It's important. Is it an investment? Yes, it's 100% investment. You have to double down. You got to do it. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's a foundational aspect of your brand. And if you truly are building a global brand, if you truly are building a legacy, if you truly are building a brand that's going to stand, that's going to last the generations, then you need to own your domain before somebody else does. Found any value in this? Share it up, okay? Share it up.